All right. Well, good morning. Thank you for coming. Obviously, that was a tough road loss. The message to the team was just when two contenders like that are playing, two really good football teams, those games are going to come down to a handful of plays, and that's why we emphasize on eliminating external factors, playing hard, and executing every single play for four full quarters. Because you never know when those plays are going to come that can be a game. And I think it's not hard to look at a handful of the plays that happened in that game and see how those related to points on the board. Um, one would be the interception early in the game, where on an RPO, ball really could have been handed off, and then the route was a little bit deep, which contributed to the interception. I thought our defense did a great job getting to a 3-and-out, but they got the ball in scoring position, were able to kick a field goal. And then you look at in the second half the explosive play that they had for 71 yards, where obviously there was tackling issues, there was effort issues running to the football that contributed to a really explosive play that I thought our defense did a great job of limiting the entire game. And then obviously missing an extra point is something that you can't do. Those are three easy plays to look at and just look at execution, how hard we play, and how those contribute to points in a really close game. Um, and then just on top of it, I think, in my opinion, scoring 13 points in any game against anybody is going to make it hard to win, and that's my responsibility. I need to get us scoring at a higher rate against good opponents. So that's one of my priorities and focuses is how to get us playing better on against a good defense. But we are well past the 24-hour rule right now. The team's moved on to our prep for UMass, and we are looking forward to finishing the season again undefeated at home and in front of the best fans in the conference. So, any questions?
Andrew Woodward with WOUB. Obviously, you said after the game on Tuesday that the max crazy could shake it anyway. Do you guys address all the different scenarios that are going to have to happen, or was it just kind of focusing on each game that you guys are going to play?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. The focus is on winning, and that's what I talk about with eliminating external factors, focusing on ourselves, our execution. Um, yeah, I know players are going to be looking at that kind of stuff and trying to figure it out on their own, but we got to control what we can control, and the first thing we can control is how we play on Tuesday.
Jonathan with the Post. I asked you after the game about Parker's game. Obviously, he struggled a bit. After looking at the film and going over it with him, just what were the things that you were kind of harping on him for and trying to improve on going into UMass?
Yeah, there was some decision making issues throughout the game that where he was not at his best. And the interesting with coaching Parker is, some of the good with the bad. Is there some decision making things that can frustrate you at times, and then at the same time he makes unbelievable plays that he's breaking multiple tackles on a fourth down run to extend a drive, and the amount that he really cares and the effort that he will put into making plays and putting his body on the line for his teammates is really impressive. But there's always room for growth with him.
Grant Kiefer, WAUB. Building off the Parker thing, I mean, you've had 4 weeks now in a row, I think, with an interception. Just with these turnover-worthy plays, and because of your relationship with him, just where is he at right now? I guess just mentally and as a player, and have you talked about just ways of getting him back to the quarterback that went down and stared down Rutgers and won the MAC championship last year, just getting him back to his peak.
Yeah, I think it goes to decision making, and there's ups and downs with him, throughout the last 2 years of him playing for us. Of sometimes it's really at a high level, and sometimes it's not, and those are things that we coach and we work on with him. Trying to make things a little bit simpler for him, not giving him as much uh, pre-snap information as probably we do at times. And I think that he's probably at his best when he's a little bit more free and just playing football. So the better job that we can do as a staff of putting him in that scenario, I think benefits him.
CA to me has been playing his best football pretty much of his career in the last couple of weeks. He's been on a tear. Just what have you seen from him throughout the year? How important is it to have him hitting his peak in the home stretch this season?
That's when you want your guys playing their best football is in November. Been extremely happy with CA throughout the entire season. I think his attitude and his approach to how he's been playing this year has been really impressive. And he's being rewarded for it, which is great. It's a good reflection for all the other guys on the team to see kind of, how a veteran is approaching playing and, that they're being rewarded for it with success on the field. But he's running really hard. Right now he's hard to tackle, and I think is more elusive probably in space than he has been in previous years, where I think he's doing a better job of either making someone miss or breaking a tackle in space than he has been.
Cam Robinson with the Adams Semester Coach, sticking with the offense on Tuesday. I think something that stuck out to me was the aggressiveness on fourth down. I think you guys went for one early in the first quarter, went 2 for 3 in the game. Is that something that's just kind of your style as a play caller, being a bit more aggressive, or was it more of the result of it being, like you said, a big time matchup between two MAC contenders?
Yeah, it's a combination. The style of both of our offenses and teams, I think going into the game, I knew possessions would be limited in that game. So being more aggressive was going to be important to extend drives because you didn't know how many you were going to get. They're similar. They run their quarterback too. They kind of emphasize playing physical and leaning on the run game as well. And that's why you saw, I think in the third quarter, we had a 10-minute drive. In the fourth quarter, they held on the ball for about 10 minutes. So there's one spot where I should have gone for it and I didn't. I think there was a 4th and 5 or 4th and 6 in the fourth quarter where we were getting into their territory and decided to punt. And, my hindsight, I really should have gone for it there. Or, there's some other things I probably could have done on third down to set up a 4th down call that I didn't do for that reason. The possessions were so limited that as you're getting into their territory, I think being more aggressive is important. So it changes week to week. I've talked about leaning a little bit on analytics, which can make you a little more aggressive. And I have a lot of faith in our guys on offense that, I have confidence that they're going to make plays in those situations.
Obviously, this week you get UMass, the only winless team in the FBS this year. Just what do you see as some of the kind of main challenges that they'll pose for your team?
I think anytime you're playing a team like that, there's challenges because you don't quite know what you're going to get. And forcing your team to really have the right mindset going into that game and not let them hear things like what you just said and have that affect them. Because as we've seen already this year, you can play teams that maybe on paper, record wise, people might say that you're a better team, but if you don't have the right mindset of playing your best football and playing at a high level, those games can change really quick. So our guys really have to have the right mindset where they're going to play their best football every single play. And like we said before, we're expecting teams to play their best game against us, and we need to play our best football against everybody that we play. And I'm excited that we're playing at home. I think we're a different team right now when we're playing on the Frank and have been for the past few years. So I'm excited to get back in front of our crowd.
I know you guys already celebrated Senior Day, but last home game of the season. Can you just talk about just the sentimental aspect for it, especially with just a big and important senior class?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of guys in this program that have contributed and added a lot to who we are, what our culture is. Guys that have gotten here and stayed the entire time, guys that left and came back, and guys that transferred and have made really good careers here and have been a huge part of the success of the program. So I think honoring those guys is important. And I think it matters to them to, end their time in Athens the right way.
The offense kind of struggled scoring the ball in the first half the last couple of weeks. Is there more of an emphasis this week to come out hot and to stay aggressive on that side of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, we're always trying to come out hot. We're trying to score every time we touch the ball. So I don't know if you emphasize more, first half or first drive or whatever. I mean, we're trying to score every time we have it.
Obviously, the record doesn't jump off the page for UMass, but they've played some competitive games. They took Buffalo to the brink a couple weeks ago. Just in your short evaluation of them as you begin their prep, has there been anything that stuck out to you about them?
Yeah, I mean, you obviously look at that. They played Western Michigan really tough. I want to say that was a one-score game early in the fourth quarter, and then obviously Buffalo was a crazy game. I mean, they had a pick with about a minute left, up one, and Buffalo was able to get the ball back because they saved their timeouts and were able to score. I think with 10 seconds left, something like that, to go ahead. So they've had some opportunities to win and against really good opponents. There's playing a team that uses multiple quarterbacks, I think is challenging. Just how you prepare for different guys back there with some different skill sets. Defensively, they have some really good defensive linemen that create some challenges. And I think about 4 weeks in a row we're playing really good edge players. So there's definitely talent on that level, and there's sometimes where it just becomes hard to finish games. And there's I've been through it. My freshman year playing college football, I was part of an 0-12 team, and we were going back the previous year, we were 0-18 and had the longest losing streak in NCAA. And then the following year, we ended up winning our conference. So things can change quickly with teams. And again, that's why you have to prepare for them with the right mindset that you're going to get their best shot and that we have to play at a high level to beat anybody.
A player who stuck out to me on defense this year has been Jalen Thomason. Just what can you say about his performance and what he means to your defense?
Yeah, I love how hard he plays. I thought he made a couple really good plays on the perimeter, which has been growth from him, being able to get off blocks in the perimeter and make some tackles for losses. I thought was really great. And I think he's a really good person. Two guys that I wanted to make sure I mentioned was, me leaving the locker room after the game. Most everybody was kind of cleared out of there. And, Jalen was kind of walking through, picking up trash on the floor and helping clean up the place. And Dom Dorwart was going through, stacking up chairs and putting them back where they were when we first got there. So, both those guys kind of staying and helping the equipment staff and making sure that the locker room was how it was when we got there. I thought it was a great reflection of both their character.
One question for you, Coach. Heading into our last home game, do you have anything that you'd like to say to the fans?
Yeah, I mean, they've been tremendous all year. So expecting them to come out and continue to support our program. And I know that it means a lot to our players, and they love playing to get in front of the best fans in the conference.